If you're over 65, here's a fact that may shock you. Up to 80% of strokes can be prevented, yet every single day, millions of seniors unknowingly increase their risk with the smallest choices. A glass of juice instead of water, skipping a short walk, adding just one more pinch of salt. And the cruel truth is, strokes rarely come with a warning. They can strike in your sleep, in the middle of your favorite show, even while you're making breakfast. That's why today's message matters more than ever. I'm Dr. Michael Carter, and if you or someone you love is over 65, this video could save your independence or even your life. We'll walk together through 9 simple, powerful habits that protect your brain and keep your future strong. Before we begin, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from today? Share your state or country in the comments. I love seeing the community we're building here. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe. Each week, I bring you trusted health guidance designed for seniors who want to live longer, healthier, and with confidence. Stay with me until the end because the final tip is the one most people overlook, yet it could be the most important habit of all. Now let's take a deep breath together and begin with the very first habit. What you choose for breakfast and why it may quietly shape your risk of stroke for the entire day. Let's start with breakfast, because the very first thing you eat each morning can either protect your blood vessels or slowly damage them without you even realizing it. After 65, your body becomes more sensitive to inflammation, blood pressure spikes, and sugar swings. These are some of the biggest drivers of stroke. The CDC tells us that nearly 3 out of 4 strokes occur in people over 65. Many are tied to simple daily choices, and breakfast is often the first one. The silent enemy here is chronic low-grade inflammation. You don't feel it, but day after day it wears down your arteries, raises blood pressure, and makes clots more likely. The good news is you can fight back with foods that calm inflammation, balance your sugar, and boost blood flow to your brain. 3 groups stand out: healthy fats, antioxidants, and fiber. Think of omega-3 fatty acids from walnuts, flax, or chia seeds. Just a spoonful of chia seeds gives you more omega-3s than a piece of salmon plus 5 grams of fiber. Or picture a bowl of blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries. Those rich colors come from anthocyanins, antioxidants, proven to protect artery walls. Harvard researchers found eating berries at least 3 times a week could reduce stroke and heart attack risk by nearly a third. Now consider oats, not the instant packets loaded with sugar, but plain rolled or steel-cut oats. They deliver soluble fiber that helps sweep bad cholesterol out of your system. A half cup gives you 4 grams of fiber, a strong start toward the daily 25 grams recommended by the American Heart Association. Here's a simple recipe. Cook half a cup of oats, top with half a banana, a handful of mixed berries, a tablespoon of chia seeds, 5 walnuts, and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Add a spoonful of Greek yogurt if you'd like protein and probiotics. It takes less than 10 minutes, but it fuels your brain and vessels for hours. Now let's be clear, some breakfast favorites quietly push your risk higher. Flavored instant oatmeal can hide up to 16 grams of sugar per serving. Bacon and sausage are packed with sodium and nitrates that stiffen arteries. And even pure orange juice with 22 grams of sugar per cup hits your body almost like soda. So ask yourself, tomorrow morning, what will you put on your plate? If you're ready to take the smart choice, type yes in the comments. Because breakfast is never just a meal, it's a daily decision that shapes your brain's future. Coming up next, we'll move from what's on your plate to what's in your glass. Why dehydration and even too much hidden sugar may quietly double your risk of stroke. Now let's move from your plate to your glass, because hydration is one of the most underestimated parts of stroke prevention. Most people don't realize this, but even mild dehydration can thicken your blood. When that happens, it flows more slowly and clots more easily. And clots are the #1 trigger for ischemic strokes. Studies show over 60% of stroke patients arrive at the hospital already dehydrated. That's a silent warning. And here's something else. As we age, our sense of thirst becomes weaker. You might not feel thirsty, but your body is still running low on water. Without enough, your blood pressure rises, waste builds up, and your brain doesn't get the oxygen-rich flow it needs. So what can you do? Keep it simple. Fill a glass or bottle in the morning and keep it close all day. Sip regularly instead of waiting until you're parched. Aim for 6 to 8 cups daily more if you're active or the weather is hot. But let's talk about the enemy hiding in plain sight: refined sugar. It's not just in desserts. It's tucked into flavored yogurts, bottled teas, breakfast bars, even salad dressings. Once inside your bloodstream, sugar sparks inflammation, raises blood pressure, and damages artery walls. The American Heart Association says older adults should limit added sugar to 24 grams a day for women and 36 for men. Yet a single can of soda has nearly 40 grams. And here's the kicker. The more sugar you take in, the more your body pulls water out of tissues to balance blood sugar. That dehydrates you even further. So you get a double hit: thicker blood and more inflammation. Instead, reach for whole fruits like apples or berries. They give natural sweetness with fiber that slows sugar absorption. Try flavoring your water with lemon, cucumber, or mint. Sip on herbal teas like chamomile in the afternoon when sugar cravings usually sneak in. So, quick question for you. Do you drink more water or more sweet drinks in a typical day? Comment water or sugar below. Because protecting your brain doesn't always mean medicine. Sometimes it just takes a glass of water at the right time. Next, we'll look at one of the simplest habits of all: walking for just 10 minutes after a meal, and why this tiny change can dramatically improve blood flow, stabilize sugar, and lower your stroke risk. Now let's talk about movement. Not an intense workout, not hours in the gym, just a gentle 10-minute walk after meals. Here's why this simple habit is so powerful. Every time you eat, especially a meal with carbohydrates, your blood sugar naturally rises. That's normal. But after 65, those spikes tend to be higher and last longer. If sugar lingers in your blood, it fuels inflammation, damages arteries, and stresses your heart. But there's amazing news. Research shows that walking for only 10 minutes after a meal can lower that sugar spike by up to 22%. Why? Because your muscles soak up that sugar for energy instead of letting it sit in your bloodstream. And that's not all. A short walk improves circulation, it gently lowers blood pressure, it reduces the fatigue and brain fog many people feel after eating, and it helps control weight, which is directly linked to lower stroke risk. Think about dinner time. Most people eat to sit on the couch, maybe watch TV, and then go to bed. That pattern leaves blood sugar elevated for hours, quietly stressing your blood vessels overnight. A 10-minute walk changes everything. And here's the beauty. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't even need good weather. Walk around your home, up and down the hallway, or tidy the kitchen while moving your feet. If the weather is nice, take a stroll in the garden. Invite your spouse or call a friend while you walk. What matters most is movement, not distance. You'll feel the difference. Looser legs, a clearer mind, more balanced energy. So let me ask you, will you try a 10-minute walk after your very next meal? If your answer is yes, type 10 in the comments. Because this habit costs nothing, takes almost no time, and pays you back immediately with better blood flow. Coming up next, we'll head back to the kitchen, but not for food, for something tiny that sits on nearly every table, and why cutting just half a teaspoon each day could do more for stroke prevention than any pill. Let's step back into the kitchen, because sitting quietly on your table in your pantry or hidden in packaged food is one of the most dangerous stroke triggers of all: salt. High blood pressure is the #1 modifiable risk factor for stroke, and excess salt is one of the fastest ways to push that pressure up, especially after 65. Your kidneys and blood vessels simply can't handle overload the way they used to. Here are the numbers. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for older adults. That's about 2/3 of a teaspoon. Yet the average American eats more than double that, over 300-400 milligrams daily. And here's the catch. About 70% doesn't even come from the salt shaker. It's hidden in canned soups, frozen dinners, deli meats, bread, and even so-called healthy snacks. One study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology showed that cutting just 1,000 milligrams of sodium per day lowered systolic blood pressure by 5 to 6 points, and every 10-point drop slashes stroke risk by 27%. So how do you cut salt without losing flavor? You turn to nature's medicine cabinet. Garlic loaded with allicin naturally lowers pressure and cholesterol. Turmeric fights vessel inflammation. Rosemary, thyme, and oregano add fragrance and plant compounds that strengthen arteries. Lemon juice and apple cider vinegar brighten food so you crave less salt. And extra virgin olive oil, rich in polyphenols, soothes your vessels while adding depth to meals. Imagine roasting potatoes two different ways. One version is tossed with oil and heavy seasoning salt, giving you half your daily sodium in one dish. The other version uses olive oil, garlic, rosemary, and a splash of lemon. Same satisfaction, almost no sodium, and your arteries breathe easier. If cutting salt feels hard, start small. Have what you normally add. Taste before shaking. Use herbs twice as much as salt. In just a few weeks, your taste buds will adjust, and what once seemed bland will taste just right. So tell me, do you think you eat more salt than you should? Comment salt if yes or no, if you're already careful. Because stroke prevention doesn't mean flavorless meals. In fact, the right spices can make your food and your future taste better than ever. Next, we'll move into your nightly routine. Why the way you sleep and even your afternoon coffee may secretly be raising your stroke risk. Now let's talk about something we all do, yet often overlook: sleep. Did you know that up to 1 in 4 strokes happen during sleep or in the first hours after waking? That means your nighttime routine can either protect your brain or put it under silent stress. Poor sleep throws your body out of rhythm. It raises nighttime blood pressure. It pumps stress hormones like cortisol into your system. It disrupts how you manage blood sugar. Put together, it creates the perfect storm for stroke risk. A study in the journal Neurology followed more than 30,000 adults for nearly a decade. Those with irregular sleep schedules had a 22% higher risk of stroke compared to people who kept consistent bed and wake times. Notice this, it wasn't just about hours slept, it was about regularity. So what can you do? Set a steady routine. Go to bed around the same time each night and wake up at the same hour each morning, even on weekends. This keeps your internal clock balanced, your blood pressure steady, and your vessels calm. But there's one hidden habit that sabotages sleep, especially after 60 late-day caffeine. Coffee, tea, even green tea. Caffeine can stay in your system for 6 to 8 hours. If you sip at 3 p.m., it may still be raising your blood pressure and blocking deep sleep at 10 p.m. As we age, our liver processes caffeine more slowly. What never bothered you at 40 might keep you awake at 70. So here's the rule: avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. Instead, try chamomile tea to relax or rooibos tea for natural sweetness without caffeine. Even a cup of warm lemon water can be a calming ritual before bed. And remember, good sleep isn't just long, it's deep and consistent. Dim the lights an hour before bed. Put away screens. Read, listen to music, or simply let your body wind down naturally. Quick question: do you usually drink coffee or tea after 2 p.m.? Type coffee or no coffee in the comments. Because protecting your brain at night is just as important as caring for it in the day. Up next, we'll move to something you can check with just your fingers: an irregular heartbeat that could multiply your stroke risk 5 times, and how to spot it before it's too late. Now let's shift from sleep to something you can feel if you know how to check your heartbeat. One of the most overlooked stroke risks after 65 isn't high blood pressure or cholesterol. It's an irregular rhythm called atrial fibrillation, or AFib. AFib means the upper chambers of your heart beat out of sync with the lower chambers. Instead of a steady thump-thump, the beat may flutter, skip, or race. And here's the alarming part: AFib raises your stroke risk by 5 times. Why? Because when your heart doesn't pump steadily, blood can pool and form clots. If a clot travels to your brain, that's a stroke. Even more concerning, many people with AFib don't feel any symptoms. It can remain silent until something serious happens. But the good news is you can detect it. Here's a simple at-home check. Sit quietly. Place your index and middle finger on your wrist just below your thumb. Feel the pulse. Count beats for 15 seconds, then multiply by 4. Ask yourself, is the rhythm steady or irregular? The number matters, but the rhythm matters more. A steady beat is healthy. An irregular pattern may be a warning. Common signs of AFib include fluttering in your chest, shortness of breath, unexplained fatigue or dizziness. If you notice these, don't panic, but don't ignore them either. Call your doctor and ask for an ECG test. It's quick, painless, and can confirm whether your rhythm is steady. Here's a sobering fact. Nearly 1 in 10 people over 80 has AFib, and strokes from AFib tend to be more severe, often causing long-term disability. But if you catch it early, treatments like blood thinners, medication, or even a pacemaker can dramatically reduce your risk. So take 1 minute each day to feel your pulse. Write down what you notice. It's the cheapest and most powerful prevention tool you have. Tell me in the comments, have you ever checked your own pulse at home? Type pulse if yes or never if no. Because sometimes the difference between danger and safety is simply paying attention to the beat of your own heart. Next, we'll return to the kitchen for a practical habit that makes healthy choices easier and helps protect you before temptation even starts. Let's talk about planning ahead. Because when you're tired, hungry, or rushed, you don't usually reach for the healthiest option. You grab what's easiest. And for most people, that means processed foods loaded with sugar, salt, or unhealthy fats, the very things we've been working to avoid. That's why meal preparation is such a powerful tool for stroke prevention. A simple routine of prepping your meals in advance can change everything. It reduces decision fatigue, it builds consistency, and it puts heart-healthy food right at your fingertips. Think of it this way. If your fridge is stocked with washed fruit, chopped vegetables, or ready-to-eat oatmeal jars, you don't have to think twice. You just grab and go. No guessing, no temptation. Just support for your heart and brain every single day. Here are a couple of easy ideas. First, fruit and nut salad cups. Chop apples or pears, add berries, toss in walnuts, or almonds, sprinkle with cinnamon, and store in small containers. You've now got ready-made snacks full of fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats. Second, overnight oats. In a jar, combine rolled oats, chia seeds, unsweetened almond milk, and frozen berries. Leave it in the fridge overnight. By morning, you have a breakfast packed with omega-3s and soluble fiber that fuels you for hours. Don't like sweet options? No problem. Prep a savory bowl instead. Quinoa, roasted vegetables, olive oil, and lemon juice, or hard-boiled eggs with sliced tomatoes and avocado. Here's a little trick. Store meals in clear containers and place them at eye level in the fridge. That way, when hunger strikes, the first thing you see is the right choice. So let me ask you, do you usually plan your meals ahead of time, or do you decide in the moment? Comment, plan, or decide below. Because stroke prevention isn't just about willpower, it's about making the healthy choice the easy choice. Coming up next, we'll step outside the kitchen and look at something just as powerful as food or medicine, the role of social connection in protecting your health and your happiness. Now let's step outside the kitchen, because one of the most powerful habits for stroke prevention has nothing to do with food, medicine, or even exercise. It's about people. I'm talking about social connection, friendships, family, a sense of belonging, even the simple act of talking with someone you trust. These things matter more than most realize. Studies show that social isolation increases stroke risk by 32%. And if someone does have a stroke, isolation makes recovery far harder. Why? Because loneliness raises stress hormones like cortisol, pushing blood pressure higher. It makes it harder to stick with healthy habits like walking or cooking, and it can quietly feed depression or anxiety, both of which harm your heart and brain. Here's a story. Margaret, age 72, had a mini stroke a few years ago. At first, she was too scared to go out alone. But then she joined a senior walking group at her local park. At first, she stayed quiet. Slowly, she made a friend, Susan, who had also faced health challenges. They began checking in on each other, walking together, reminding one another to eat well and keep appointments. 2 years later, Margaret's blood pressure is stable. She's lost weight, but more importantly, she's smiling again. The truth is, health isn't just about numbers, it's about people. That's why I urge you to find your circle. Join a walking group. Try gentle yoga or Tai Chi classes designed for seniors. Volunteer at your church library or food pantry. And if leaving home is tough, connect online. Even a weekly phone call can make a difference. So here's my question. Who's in your corner? Type the word friend in the comments if you have someone who supports your health. Because preventing stroke isn't something you should do alone. Together we are stronger. Coming up next, we'll bring everything full circle. The one habit that ties all the others together. It takes just 5 minutes a week, yet it could save your life. Now let's bring all of this together, because no matter how well you eat, walk, or sleep, there's one habit that connects them all: tracking your health. Think of it like this. You wouldn't drive a car for years without checking the oil. Your body deserves the same care. After 65 regular checkups and simple tracking at home become your early warning system. They catch small problems before they grow into emergencies. Here are the numbers every senior should know. Blood pressure, aim to keep it under 130/80. Heart rate, check your resting pulse and note if the rhythm feels steady. Cholesterol, especially LDL, the bad cholesterol that damages arteries. Blood sugar, even without diabetes, rising glucose raises stroke risk. And weight or waist size, since abdominal fat is tied to metabolic issues. But you don't need to wait for the doctor's office. Start a simple notebook at home. Write down your blood pressure if you have a monitor. Record your pulse, sleep quality, or any unusual symptoms like headaches, blurred vision, or dizziness. Over time, these notes form a powerful tool for you and your doctor to spot patterns early. And don't forget, your eyes, gums, and digestion are part of the story too. Vision changes may signal small strokes. Gum disease can increase artery inflammation. Digestive problems may affect nutrient absorption. That's why eye exams, dental visits, and honest conversations with your doctor matter. The best part, this habit takes only 5 minutes a week, but it gives you peace of mind every single day. So let me ask you, do you already keep track of your health numbers at home? Comment track if yes, or start if you're ready to begin. Because prevention isn't just about reacting. It's about listening to your body, catching signals early, and protecting your future. Now let's take a deep breath together as we move into our conclusion. A reminder of what really matters and why these habits are not just routines, but tools of hope. Let's pause and look back at the journey we've taken together today. 9 simple, science-backed habits that protect your brain, your heart, and your independence. From starting your morning with anti-inflammatory foods to drinking more water and cutting hidden sugar. From taking just 10 minutes to walk after meals to choosing herbs and olive oil instead of salt. From keeping a steady bedtime and avoiding late caffeine to checking your heartbeat and watching for irregular rhythms. From preparing meals in advance to staying socially connected and building friendships that keep you strong. And finally, from tracking your health numbers to staying in tune with your body every single week. None of these habits require expensive machines or complicated routines. They're simple choices. Choices you can make in your kitchen, in your living room, in your own neighborhood. Choices that give you back control of your health and of your future. Here's the truth. Stroke prevention after 65 isn't about living in fear. It's about living with knowledge, with action, with hope. Every glass of water, every short walk, every healthy meal, every smile shared with a friend, it all adds up to a stronger tomorrow. So which of these habits spoke to you most today? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're already doing and what you'll start this week. And if you found this video helpful, I invite you to subscribe. Each week, I bring you trusted health guidance created especially for older adults who want to live longer, feel better, and stay independent. Share this video with someone you care about, because your sister, your neighbor, your friend may not realize how much power they already hold to protect their brain. Until next time, I'm Dr. Michael Carter. Stay strong, stay curious, and keep making choices today that serve your future self. You've got this, and we're right here with you every step of the way.